Oh, no record. Okay.
Nak gambar. Oh. Start
Sekejap. Mana yang lain open the camera?
Yeah.
yang lain mana? Bukanlah
Dah.
kameranya.
Dah.
Dah. Okay. Start. A very good evening to Sir British. Today, our group from robotics will present about pumps and pumps heads. So, our group member is me, Rizdanny Shuhaikal, Amirurrasyid, Fawzan, and Haziqah Auni. So, next slide, please. So, table of content in our assignment is introduction, literature review, findings, type of pump, discussion, advantage, and conclusion. So, introduction of pumps. So, type of pumps was one of the first powered device to be created at the beginning of the industrial age. Since then, the pump has developed into an infinite numbers of varieties, size, and use. So, pumps are mechanical devices that are used as booster in piping networks to move liquid from low pressure areas to high pressure areas, or to elevate liquid from low level to high level. Pumps basically transform the mechanical energy of a motor into the energy fluid flow. Pumps can also be implemented in processes that need a lot of hydraulic pressure. This is seen in heavy-duty machinery. High discharge pressure and low suction pressure are needed for heavy-duty equipment. Fluid will rise from a given depth due to low pressure at the pump's suction side, while high pressure at the pump's discharge side will force fluid to lift until it reaches the desired height. Next slide. So, pump's head, or water pump's head, also known as the discharge head, operates as an indicator for the power of the pump. The pressure that a pump can produce increase with pump's head size. The highest height to which a pump can pump water is determined by placing a tube on the discharge and measuring the result in meters or in feet. The maximum height that a pump can reach while pumping against gravity is known as the head of the pump. So I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Thank you, Rizdanny. My name is Fawzan, and I will presenting about our case study, which is pump. Because of population and economic expansion, the need for electrical energy is increasing in today's world. It is nearly impossible to live today without electricity. It is now an integral part of our daily lives, and we cannot imagine as a world without it. As a result, one of the most intriguing technologies, pump as turbine (PAT), can be used to generate electricity from fluid source. The review demonstrated that the pump can function in turbine mode and that this technology may efficiently generate electricity for the development of mini hydropower plants. The system's minor drawbacks result in lesser efficiency. The goal of this study is to show that we must employ PAT technology for hydroelectric power generation because it is more cost effective than the traditional turbines. I will pass to another person.
Okay. The findings. Pumps are used to transfer and distribute liquid in various sectors. There are many different types of pump available. Each one of them is created for a different application. But however, the majority of them can be broadly divided into two groups as follows, which are centrifugal and positive displacement. Okay, for the first one, the centrifugal pump, which is the most common, it is suitable for handling water and relatively easy to manufacture. It also can be said as mechanical device which used to transfer liquid of various types like water or even oil. So as the name implies, it make use of principle of centrifugal force. It's doing so by make use of an impeller which rotate while having curved blade that accelerate fluid upward. So with the movement of the impeller, so it's gonna be uh, so typically it's gonna be propelled by an electric motor or electric combustion engine, which then will create suction at the pump intake and draw water inside. So where can we find the centrifugal pump? So is for example, some example that can be found it used at the milk handling and water supply. Okay. It's also divided into several subtypes. So yeah, according on the water flow they produce. So the first one is axial pump. Axial pump is a type of dynamic pump which has a suction parallel to the to the impeller direction. Fluid flow. Sorry, which has a sorry. Axial pump is a type of dynamic pump which has a suction parallel to the impeller direction. So basically, the fluid flow direction is unaffected by an axial flow pump. So like this, for example, the fluid gonna be enter and exit this pump in a path that is parallel to the impeller. So and then the impeller of this pump, there features 3 to 4 fitted blade. And then this pump will be used in application that mostly require low pressure and high flow rate. Okay, the second one is the radial flow pump. Okay, it is used uh, it is used for pumping a low or medium flow rate. Uh, it is it is used for pumping a low or medium flow rate at a higher delivery head impeller of the radial pump. which has a vein that provide the force to the fluid it is handling. And then it will, by doing so, it will increasing the angular momentum. One of the benefits of this radial flow pump is permanently mounted on the pump shaft, so it will be more stable. So to the radio and diffuser is like agricultural field, sewage application, cooling water for thermal and nuclear power plant, and many more. Okay, so for the second one, just the positive displacement pump. uh the it is created for reason which is to move a more or less constant volume of fluid during each cycle of operation. So so basically the pump design, the size, and even the speed of the operation will determine its flow capacity. uh, the head of the positive displacement pump is create only gonna be constrained by this only will be constrained by the size of the driving motor and the durability of the component, and it's also dependent on the flow resistance of the system in which it is mounted. So gonna be the one of the subtopic A, which is the rotary pump. Okay, it is operate with a circular motion as opposed to a reciprocating one. This pump is can uh, rotary pump can be pumped with like liquid, solid, gases, or even mixes of all three using uh u- using using the rotary pump. Also, the capacity per rotation is independent of driven speed, just like reciprocating pump. But also, they do, however, develop a dynamic liquid seal and do not need inlet and discharge check valve, unlike reciprocal. So since the power spinning component is directly coupled to its driver through a shaft, so a drive shaft sealing system is typically necessary. Uh, so okay, for the last one, which is the reciprocating pump. It is used by using the reciprocating motion, which help the liquid to lift the leg and go onward. Example of this are like the plunger, the piston, or even the diagram. This kind of pump actually has a variety of valve, including an inlet valve and exit valve. So the inlet valve open and then the outlet valve remain closed in the fluid suction method. So that's all for me. So I will pass to the lab presenter.
Okay, thank you for the Amirurrasyid. Okay, next I will talk about discussion, which is I have a first one advantage, and the second one is disadvantage, and the third one is application. So I will talk about advantage first. There are four advantage for this pump. So as you know, pump is a device used to elevate fluids from underground sources to the higher top layer or from one location to another. There are four, which is the first one is no leaking in the pump. And the second one is extremely little slowness. The third one is the design is straightforward. And the fourth one, it has the least wear. Okay, so I will talk about disadvantages. So palm also have a disadvantage, which produce cavitation. The palm can have a cavitation because of too lame to function and had a damage on the side. Other than that, corrosion. Okay, corrosion. Palm corrosion is caused by chemical interactions between of palm water and exposing metal surfaces. It leads to decreased performance and higher maintenance expenditures. Corrosion can cause equipment to fail prematurely in severe systems. The last is cannot be able to work at high speed. The flow rate decreases by the same amount as the engine slows down. When the pump is pressure it's to full rating, a motor that runs at around 2000 RPM at low pressures will normally slow down to around 1750 RPM. It logically follows that increased pump pressure will not result in increased flows. And the next application means the thing that use pumps in the single every the activities. Okay. So the first one is aquarium and pond filtering. By displacement water with air bubbles, aquarium pumps impact agitation. Air pumps guarantee that fish have adequate oxygen to breathe independent of external conditions such as the presence of medicine in the water of chloroplast plant life. While pond filtering, if you intend to keep fish in your little pond, it is critical that you build a pump and appropriate filter system. The pump and filtering not only remove their face from the water, but they also keep the pond hydrated at the appropriate levels for them all to thrive. Okay. The second one is water cooling. Okay. As you know, in the water cooling, there has a compressor which allows heat to be transferred from your PC's hardware to the radiator and then to the outer air. A liquid cooling system cannot function without coolant flow. Lastly is fuel injection in automobiles. A fuel system or pump's primary function is to supply petrol towards the chambers of a diesel car, but the mechanism of delivering the gasoline has an influence on engine performance, emissions, and engine noise. That's all from me. Next, we pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
So for the conclusion is, pumps are very crucial in various industries since the beginning of the industrial age, such as the water industry, oil and gas industry, and power generation industry, as it has the ability to create a flow for liquid and gas to move. However, with pump head that operates as an indicator for the power of the pump, the function of the pumps has been expanding as it could help pumping liquid and gas against gravity depending on the size of the head to reach a certain height with the help of pressure produced from the pump. Pumps technologies has also been growing to fulfill the various such as the needs. One of the technologies mentioned was pump as turbine, PAT, which can operate in turbine mode, which is much cheaper to make it work as it only required water. This technology has been widely used in various systems such as the sewage systems, irrigation systems, and power recovery systems. That's all from me. All right, that's all from us. Thank you.